Yes. All right. Here we go, guys. Excuse me. We need to talk about this. This just came up on my Facebook feed here. Okay. Matter of fact, I say on Twitter here, so we can go on to Twitter here. Bam, here we go. You use daily. It was unexpected. Ulugbek Rashitov comments on his disqualification. It was unexpected. Ulugbek Rashitov comments on his. It was recently reported that two-time Olympic Taekwondo champion Ulugbek Rashitov has been handed a 2-year. Let's see. Here it is. Yes, on the Use Daily right here, guys. So again, like I am a huge fan of Uzbek Rashitov from Uzbekistan. Ulugbek Rashitov from Uzbekistan. And when I saw this, I was like, bruh, what? What the heck is going on? And I was like, oh my gosh, we definitely got it. This came out, what is 7/12/2025. So this was what, like 3 days ago, chat? Yeah, 3 days ago. Today's the 15th. So 3 days ago, this came out. And this hit the press. Now, in the U.S., nobody really gets this kind of information like that because the U.S., to me, sometimes they act real biased. They don't really pay too much attention to what's really going on out there in the Taekwondo world. Their main concern is just with U.S. players, of course. But I was looking at this, man, and I was like, bro, what is happening and what is going on? This is my guy. I think this guy is I personally think he's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely one of the best. Two-time Olympic gold medalist from Uzbekistan. Hopefully one day, you know what I mean, I'll be able to meet this guy. We'll be able to have conversation, talk, etc. You know the whole deal. However, let's go ahead and read this article here. It was unexpected. You feel me? It was unexpected that Ulugbek Rashitov comments on his disqualification. Okay? Uzdaily.com. It was recently reported that two-time Olympic Taekwondo champion Ulugbek Rashitov has been handed a 2-year suspension for violating anti-doping regulations. According to the information published on the website of the International Testing Agency, the Uzbek athlete committed 3 whereabout failures within a 12-month period. Now, those of you that don't know what a failure of whereabouts is basically like when USADA, like if you're a part of USADA or WADA, right? WADA is the World Anti-Doping Agency, and USADA would be the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. Now, I used to be, when I was competing and I was on national team, etc., USADA would come and do urinalysis tests, etc., and they would ask you where are your whereabouts going to be, right? So you would say, I'm going to be here at this time, here at this time, here at this time, here at this time. And randomly, they'll pick out of the pot randomly throughout the whole year to come and do a test on you. And that test would consist of a urinalysis test. You know what I mean? And with a urinalysis test, excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. With that urinalysis test, what they would do is they would take that test to a lab and they test it to see if you're doing any performance enhancement drugs and et cetera, and all that stuff like that. Now, mind you, when you're young and you're dumb and you do dumb things, sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you do things that, you don't realize that you're doing, and things wind up turning out a different way. But then they have alternatives for you to be able to, adjust and figure out how to, appeal it or things like that. All right, so here we go. Rashitov addressed the situation on his Instagram page, emphasizing that the suspension was not related to the use of banned substances. Right. So basically he's saying, yes, he was suspended or banned for 2 years, 2-year suspension of a violation anti-doping regulation, which was only the fact of him being failing to show his whereabouts, but a banned substance was not there. So basically, he's stating that he wasn't doing any performance enhancement drugs. He doesn't do any type of drugs that are, performance enhancing, or any type of, hard drugs and things like that. Most athletes don't. All right. But solely due to the administrative failure in reporting his whereabouts. He explained that athletes are required to submit daily updates in a dedicated system specifying their residence, travel routes, and overnight locations. One of the violations, he said, occurred in November when doping officers arrived at 6 a.m. Although he had listed 9 p.m. as his availability in the system, I could not have expected a visit at such an early hour. No one called. I only received a text message. Later, I was told that no exceptions would be made, Rashitov recounted. He added that 4 months later, he received notification that the incident had been officially recorded as a violation and that a decision has been made to suspend him. So, wow. That's why I said we're going to unpack. See, we see these things that are happening in the world of Taekwondo, but nobody really be paying attention and be knowing like what's really going on. They start to speculate things and they create their own stories. And this is why I say here on this channel, on this live, and what we do here, we love the sport of Taekwondo, bruh. We love the sport of Taekwondo. We're going to talk about Taekwondo. We're going to look at the fights. We're going to analyze the fights. But what are we also going to do? We're also going to go to the facts, and we're going to analyze what is really going on. You feel me? That's what we're going to do. And what it looks like here is that the agents came at a unexpected hour when he listed 9 p.m. with where his availability would be within the system. And it's like they came whenever they wanted. They just send him a text message and said, you need to do it, and we don't care. We don't care. And this is what it is, and you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? He added that 4 months later, he received a notification that the incident had been officially recorded as a violation. So 4 months later, after that incident, he received a text message stating that they are going to record that as a violation and that he was going to be suspended. The athlete admitted that the ruling came as a complete surprise. He said, I was shocked, quote, Rashitov. The last time I was tested was on April 22nd. They took a sample, confirmed I was clean, and then issued this decision. But now it's in the past and nothing can be changed, he said. Quote, despite the circumstances, Ulugbek Rashitov remains optimistic about the future. He declared his intention to continue training and expressed confidence in participating in the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. I will do everything possible and impossible to proudly represent my country, he stressed, thanking his fans for their support and understanding. And, and applaud to him for that, bro. But here's the deal. If I were him, I would appeal. I'd appeal that. I'm sorry. My first thing what I would do is that I would go look at the rules and regulations. I would possibly, I'm sure he's having an attorney take over and look at this. I'm sure he's got an attorney looking at this right now, and they're going to go look at his rules and look at the rules and regulations of WADA, see what they can possibly do. I'm sure there's an appeals process where they can appeal the decision that was made on the suspension for 2-year ban, right? And appeal the decision. Now, if they appeal the decision, I already stated when I saw this article, I said, man, he could win the appeal if he appeals this, because here's the reality. If he can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he set his times from 9 p.m. in the system, explaining to the organization that 9 p.m. is where his availability time was, there's a possibility that he could appeal this decision and have it overturned. Now, if WADA has a clause or rule or regulation or policy within their regulation stating that whether you put your availability time or not, they have the discretion to make the decision on when the urinalysis test or whatever test that they're taking can be at the discretion of the agent's time, then he may not win the appeal. May not. He may not win the appeal because I still don't know all of the details about this situation here. I still don't know all of the details about the situation. You know what I mean? Right. So I saw this and I'm like, bro, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And me personally, I know a little bit about what appeals are, especially dealing with my situation. Those of you that may be aware, that's right. Because we said we're going to talk. I'm a little bit aware of what appeals are, and I know what they're for, right? And you cannot have or get an appeal unless you are giving due process. If you're not given due process, then therefore you are not eligible for an appeal. In my case, I was denied due process. Now, in this case with Rashitov, he wasn't denied due process. They went through the proper channels and procedures. However, if he chose to appeal the decision, because they made a decision, he can appeal that decision. Now, when someone makes a decision on you, you should be able to appeal that, correct? Right. Now, why are in certain cases some people can't appeal anything or can't even contest it? There's something fishy going on. Now, I don't want to bring certain people's situations involved in this situation. I just want to bring to light that there's people have picks. I just want to bring that to light. I just want that to be open floor where people have picks. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and read this. The ban was announced by the International Testing Agency, ITA, on behalf of the World Taekwondo. Specifically, Rashitov committed 3 whereabout failures within the 12 months. So within 1 year, he failed 3. So he stated one incident, talking about 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., but what were the other 2? See, we don't know all the full detail. However, I'm still on Rashitov's side. I'm always going to be on the athlete's side. That's another thing I want to point out, and that's another thing I want to mention as well. Don't allow, this is to all the athletes out there right now that are active and competing and doing everything possible to win a world championship, win an Olympic game. I want you to know personally from me saying this live, I have nothing against you as an athlete. If anything, I believe in you all. If anything, I'm behind you. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting not only yes, let me reclarify. Yes, I'm fighting for myself. Yes, Rashitov would fight for himself and any other individual. You should fight for yourself. You should fight for your rights. You should fight for, your dignity and pride. You know what I'm saying? And who you are as an individual. You should fight for yourself. You should always fight and stand up for yourself. You should never bow down to anything, especially if you know you're right, right? Especially if you know you're right. However, I want all the athletes to know out there, all of them, from all over the world, from all corners of the earth, that I have absolutely nothing against any of you athletes. In fact, I am a fan of the sport of Taekwondo. I am an ex-fighter, an ex-competitor, an ex-athlete, an ex-coach, an ex, all of that and the above, where my whole objective is to protect the athletes because I used to and I was an athlete and I know what you feel and I know what you've been through and I understand what it takes. So I just want to make that disclaimer. I want that disclaimer to be given that I am all for the athletes. Trust and believe that. I want you all to believe that. I have nothing against you all. If anything, I want the best for each and every one of you from all over the world, from all 4 corners of the earth. Okay? However, that's right. Speaking to the powers at B, you are the ones I have my quarrel with. You are the ones that I have my quarrel with. I have my quarrel with the ones that have the power at their hands. The ones who are usurping their authority. The ones that are standing in positions and of power, making decisions that are not beneficial to the athletes, but to themselves. You! Yes, you. You are the ones that I have my quarrel with. You are the ones that I have an issue with. And you are the ones that eventually, in time, will reap what you sow. Okay? That is to be definitely true. Okay? Now, let's continue here. Specifically, Rashitov committed 3 whereabouts failures within a 12 months period, which is considered an anti-doping rule violation under Article 2.4 of the World Taekwondo anti-doping rules. Athletes, now what did I also say, guys? I said to you from the beginning, I said, guys, I made a comment about this on Facebook. I said, guys, stop going on Facebook and crashing out. Stop going on Facebook and crashing out. Stop going on Instagram and crashing out. File a formal complaint. Stop crashing out and file a formal complaint. File a formal complaint. And if you need help filing a formal complaint, then go find yourself an attorney. You feel me? It's that simple. You crashing out on live Facebook, or crashing out on a Facebook video or whatever, or posting on Facebook, writing whatever, you look crazy. You just look crazy. File a formal complaint. Now, nobody said that you can't file a formal complaint and then write your piece. That's fine, because you already have a formal complaint on the record, in the record, and you're letting the record reflect exactly what you're stating in writing. But if you're on writing on Facebook, or you're on a video, or you're live on Facebook, or live on whatever the heck you are on, whatever platform, and you don't have a formal complaint to back your argument, you look crazy. Straight up. I just have to let that be known, you guys. Again, athletes, coaches, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting for the same thing you're fighting for. You may not understand it yet, but come on. You guys are arguing and complaining and fighting and yelling and scratching and doing all this crashing out, and not one formal complaint was filed on the record, in the record, and letting the record reflect. It's just crazy to me. Let's continue. Athletes in the registered testing pool, RTP, are required to provide their location information daily and be available for testing during a designated 60-minute window each day. Okay, so athletes in the registered pool are required to provide their location information daily. So as you can see, Rashitov gave them a location. He provided them a location daily, and I'm sure a time. Okay, and be available for testing during a designated 60-minute window each day. So they need to have a 60-minute window each day. You know what I mean? Rashitov accepted the consequences proposed by the ITA and did not challenge the ADRV. That's where I have my issue. Always challenge. That's just me personal. Me personally, always challenge. I'm not going to sit there and allow anybody to say something about me, do something to me, make me anything like that without me challenging. This is the reason why I'm probably the most hated Taekwondo athlete coach in the US, period. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? I'm going to fight for my rights. I'm going to fight for what I believe in, and I'm going to fight for what I know is to be true. Period. So I'm not going to just stand there and just take a whooping. I'm not a slave. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Huh? You're crazy. His 2-year ban started on May 13th, 2025, when he accepted a voluntary provisional suspension. He accepted this provision, right? Voluntarily, he accepted it. So what? He can still do what? He can still, here's my thing about when you volunteer yourself, right? When you volunteer for something, here's the reality. When I volunteer to do something, that means also that I can unvolunteer myself. This is where the issue is. This is the biggest issue that people have, period. I'm sorry, guys. Let me set this right here. My bad. This is the biggest issue that people have, that they do not understand. For some reason, they're like, oh, well, you volunteered, so you just have to accept it. No, I don't. I don't have to accept nothing because I have rights. You feel me? I have rights. I have rights. And if I volunteer something, I have the right to unvolunteer. You understand? That's just truth. I'll give you an example. Oh, I want to be a volunteer for USA Taekwondo as a mat collector or a thrower for the time. Sure, Arnell, you can do that. Okay, thank you. Throw time. Hey, let me help you with the mats. I'm tired now. I don't want to do this anymore. Hey, I'm deciding to unvolunteer. I no longer want to do it. You can't do that because you volunteered. That don't make no sense. Zero. What? What do you mean I can't unvolunteer when I volunteered to help you? I volunteered to help you, goofy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Let's continue. When he accepted the voluntary provisional suspension and will last until May 12, 2027. All competitive results from February 3rd, 2025 until the start of the ban have been disqualified. That is crazy. All competitive results from February 3rd, 2025. So February, March, April, May. So February, March, April, May, 3 months until the start of the ban have been disqualified. Rashitov stated that the suspension was due to administrative failures in reporting his location. Say it again, baby. Huh? Huh? Oh, I love it. Pay attention to this. This is the key right here. Rashitov stated that the suspension was due to administrative failures in reporting his location, okay, and not the use of banned substances. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does it mean that it's okay, hold on. Let's go here. Sorry, guys. I want to go because you guys are going to sit there and go, no, that's not what it means. That's not what it means, Arnell. What are you talking about? Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Watch this. Let's ask ChatGPT. What does that mean? Let's see what he says. When Rashitov said the suspension was due to administrative failures in reporting his location and not the use of banned substances, he's referring to the specific rule in anti-doping regulations called the whereabouts rule. Here's what that means. Athletes in many sports, especially at the elite level, are part of a registered testing pool. They must regularly report their location and schedule, like where they will train, stay overnight, or compete. If they fail to do this, 3 missed tests, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when Rashitov says he's clarifying that he didn't take any banned substances. Instead, he was suspended because he failed to properly report his location or missed tests, which is a violation of the anti-doping rule. It is a technical or administrative violation, not a positive drug test. So it's a technical administrative violation, but not a positive drug test. Fine. However, let me tell you the real truth here. Let me tell you the real. This also indicates that the administration failed to report Okay? My personal opinion. Failed to report. Now, how did they fail to report? This man said at 6 a.m. these people came and texted him. He put on his report at 9 p.m. This is what I have my issue with. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is any legal advice. This is just my opinion. I'm a fighter, so I would, if this was me, I would sit there and I would fight this. Whether they came up and said, and still, I would appeal until kingdom come. I would appeal all the way to the Supreme Court if I had to. Straight up. Y'all can be mad at me all you want. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing but time on me. You feel me? I would appeal it all the way to the Supreme Court. But anyway, I saw this and I was like, man, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I saw this and I was like, geez. You know, I just felt so bad because I was like, yo, this is really sad. I didn't expect to see something like this, but it's shocking. It is definitely news in the World Taekwondo world. And I wanted to definitely, say something about this. Now, before we get off of this topic and move on to the next, I want you all to know that, again, I am all for the athletes. I'm all for the coaches. I love you guys. I want you guys to understand that. And we all are going to say, Rashitov, you are one of the best. And I hope and pray that you make good decisions. I hope you continue to train. I hope you continue to do etc. Such as what you said. You've already said that that's what you would do. And I hope for the best for you, man. And I hope that you definitely, do your thing. You know what I mean? I hope you do your thing, and I hope you win another gold medal, bro. You feel me? And awesome. You know what I'm saying? He is a great athlete, and this is just very unfortunate, and it was definitely unexpected. As the title of the article states, it was unexpected, right? So, an unexpected situation in the World Taekwondo world, and our heart and our prayers go out to Rashitov and his family, and hope and pray that he continues to be great. So, I just wanted to hit that point. So let's move on.